talk, I live it. I ball, I pivot. I go the distance. I'm so persistent. How I'm living. Stacking millions.
Somebody else called me Freddie Douglas, bro. And that one hurt. That one hurt a little bit more because I got my hair long, you know what I mean. So I had my hair kind of combed back and slicked back, and I had the mustache. Well, if you look like Freddie Douglas, man, you ain't gotta play me like that. that hurts a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But what's happening, family? What is going on with the halftime family? It is your boys, Uncle JB, with the man himself, Mr. Biscuit Head. Your favorite duo is back, baby. It's been quite some time. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to all 994 subscribers of you who have stuck with us throughout this year. There's been a lot of big changes. Some of you know about it, some of you don't. And I'm excited for us to really kind of dive in and really talk about what's new, what we got going on, and really excited about being back here and dropping content of not only sports topics, but talking about God, talking about just everyday life, right? Things that, questions that come up and things that we do. So with that, man, Biscuit Head, my man Nick, what's good, baby? How you been?
Oh, we've been living. Been good, been very good. Relocated a little bit. As you know, I'm not sure, I think, some of the family might know, some of them might not, but we, relocated a little bit, moving out to Dallas, had a little change of scenery. For the new phase of life that we're in, need a little bit more, close to the house. All right, I need everything to be close together. Dallas achieves that. I don't go outside, do too much. I kind of stay in my lane. So we've been doing that out here. Been good, man. Real good. I got some good friends out here. We've been hanging out, and it's been restful. It's been healthy. Got some time away. Went to Europe. On the cool.
Oh man.
That's
right. The last time that we, I want to say one of the last podcasts we did before we took a little break, you were headed out to Europe. You were like Biscuit Head going to Europe. Like, how was that? Like, how was the difference between, obviously you live here in America versus like traveling around Europe? Because you wasn't just in one place. Like, you were traveling around, right?
Oh yeah. We were on the move. We hit a couple different spots in England, in London, around London, because we were in the city. We went to the city, obviously, to stay, check it out. Be in the area. Gotta say, 10 out of 10 would recommend, at the very least, just to go eat. Because let me tell you, the way to my heart is through my stomach, as most men, but me specifically for sure. And there's tons of great food there. The scenery is beautiful. There's tons of the buildings are extravagant. I never understood when Europeans and other people would say like American architecture is boring. It's like it's lame. It's the same. It all looks the same. And now when you go over there, I'm like, oh wow, okay, y'all have all kinds of stuff carved inside of buildings, different kinds of buildings. It looks, it's beautiful. It was different. It was very unique.
And it's old too, right?
Right, very, a lot of old, but mixed with new, right? Because it's not, obviously it's a big bustling city. It's a major, a city in the world. So they got a lot of updated stuff, but at the same time, it's old. Taking the trains around was cool, a little bit different, a lot more walking. So I liked that. And then we got to go, to Jake and Jules' wedding, which was awesome. It was in this very nice manor out in, kind of the countryside of England, which is, man, is gorgeous. So you got
to see them hills and stuff like that, right?
Bro, so it's just beautiful. It's like you see in like pictures in movies, like, just lush green and just rolling hills and beautiful. It kind of feels like, low key. It's just a little back roady. It's just so nice, man. So I loved London. It was a great time. It was loving celebrating Jules and Jake. They're phenomenal. We're so excited to be able to attend their wedding and go there. That was the real reason for our trip initially. And we extended it out right to Scotland, which is my favorite place. I love London.
Okay.
But Scotland, let me tell you. All right, first of all, I'm 43% Scottish, as some of you may not know. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. So it's in the bloodline. All right. So I had to go to the land of, at least with what ancestry says is my people, my blood, it's there. So 43% at least, so I was there and it was great, man. It was very like, it was kind of like London, but a little bit more older. It felt like older and a little bit less, of a bustling time. It was nice and very nice. We're in the capital, so it wasn't like it was, just some small town, but at the same time, wasn't as many people, obviously, as in London. And it was just beautiful, though. We got to go in the castle and, go to a couple inns, and you got the local talent performing and people drinking and people getting too drunk. Classic, the whole classic inn, like, Scottish experience, man. And the beer, phenomenal. Innocent Gun would recommend, by the way, if you go, you like a little light beer. Innocent Gun, putting that out there for the people who drink beer. I had to try them all while I was out there. Then, and I'll finish it up real quick. But we went to Dublin last. Dublin was cool for the party people out there. You know what I'm saying? For the party people out there,
that's the spot.
Cool. Yes, that's the spot. All right. So if you and your significant other, or you and the boys, whoever, or you and the girls, I don't know. If y'all like to party, drink, and go hang out in the town and just be around a bunch of people, like it's very, it's like this square mile of Dublin called Temple Bar, and it's basically like New York City, but everything was a bar. You're just shoulder to shoulder with people for like, it's crazy, like how close it is, like how many people there is in these little tight like streets. But it's awesome. Like it's a great experience. A lot of fun, Christmas festivities, a lot of lights going on. So people are having a good time. Drinking that Guinness. I had to try that while I was out there, gotta say.
A lot of dark beer.
Not a dark beer drinker for me. I maybe an acquired taste as I get older, but in my youth, as I would call, right now, not Guinness for me. Okay? Guinness for others, but not Guinness for me. But it was fantastic, man. It was phenomenal. The trip was phenomenal. We had pad thai in every location. Okay, I don't know if you know about pad thai, and I don't know if the people know about pad thai.
A little bit, bit.
But all right, we hadn't had it like that. Morgan tried it in London. She had never had it. Morgan liked something then, and I like. Oh, we on go. So we tried it all 3 places. Pad thai extraordinaires that we are now, and now we got a whole wok. I got the whole recipe book. I'll be in the kitchen, I be throwing that wok, boy. I be throwing that. You know how you gotta flip it up in the food?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's me. Now I'm in the kitchen doing all that. So
I see you. You know what I heard too is like overseas, right? And I haven't been there, so you got to tell me, right?
Yeah.
You got a chance to experience it. Overseas, the food is just different, right? You don't you don't feel like heavy, you don't feel bloated, because like let's keep it real. Like not gonna dive into this too much, but a lot of our food here in America, a lot of it is processed, and a lot of it does have chemicals because they're trying to lower the cost of production so they can make the most money off, make profit off of what they're selling to us, right? Versus over in other countries like Europe, they might have more of a love for their local farmers, or more love. And I'm just saying, maybe you in the comments, y'all could tell us if you're from there, how it really is, right? But from your experience, like, how was the food? Like,
oh man, I could completely agree with that. I don't know if it's more love for the local farmers or more love for their people. I don't know which one it is, but just to kind of quantify the difference, because I'm not a super intense ingredient reader. I try to pay attention to the things I'm not supposed to consume when I'm not examining everything. But I will say over there's a difference when you walk everywhere, first of all, and when you eat here, like you go down to Chick-fil-A, you get you a 12 count nuggets and whatever, and the fries and the drink. All right, go eat that, and then tell me how you feel. Tell me you want to go walk wherever you got to go walk a mile where you're supposed to be, or go walk and go to the zoo, or just do anything. Like a lot of the food, the processed food that we have, makes us kind of want to sit down and just chill or rest and relax, take a nap. You eat there, man, and it's like energy. Like it literally felt like you didn't. It wasn't heavy. You don't feel like you got a whole bunch of weight sitting in your stomach, but you feel rejuvenated a little bit. We had to walk everywhere, so I never had a problem like with getting up and just eating and having to walk, a mile or 2 miles or whatever, and my stomach hurts and none of that, man. Like feel good the whole time. The ingredients I think are healthier. They're not processing everything. It's more just. It's expensive. I ain't gonna lie. The food was more expensive, but at the same time, what is the cost of eating, processed foods, at the end of the day over time? It's going to be a lot more than the cost of eating that little extra $4-6 or whatever you're paying per meal. That might add up. It is a little bit more, but can't quantify, years of your life, into money. So I'm just saying, I wish that we picked that up.
I hear that. That's dope, man. Cause like, you ain't lying, bro. Even some food that you get from the grocery store, bro. Like, you just hear stories about how it's different in other countries, right? And it doesn't have to be different in America. we got the opportunity to have, our local farmer markets and our local farmers that are growing legit healthy food. But, you know, America really don't,
Well, yeah, we got to stop
help
having
them as much.
capitalism. Yeah, capitalism
Yeah.
can't be our belief system. Like we have to
Yeah.
have it can be our economic system and how we do our cycles, but we the people, like you, me, and everybody else who's spending money, need to
Yep.
be a voice that says, it's not all about profit. That may be what our country's set up to do, but at the end of
Right.
the day, what is profit without the people? We got to be the people who step in and do that, because the corporations and the businesses, they're just going to see the numbers coming in, and that's going to continue to be what they look at, and that's really all they're worried about. At least these days, it feels like. So,
Yeah,
but
man. No,
definitely.
yeah, I mean that's a topic for another day, right? We could
True.
definitely dive into that, but that's dope, man. I'm glad you had a good time over there, and you and Morgan, and with that, what I've been doing, it's a little something different. I've
Talk to
been
me
going to
now.
Europe,
Mm-hmm.
but what's going on. Some people, some of the family know, some of y'all don't know. We
Mm-hmm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
just opened up our first halftime location, which is super
Mm.
exciting. So, as y'all know, Nick and I wanted to build a platform to where the community come in and talk. No matter your background, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, we want to be able to have an opportunity to give you a platform to let your voice be heard. That was the main basis of the reason why the podcast was started. And now we've had the opportunity to be able to open this golf location to be able to give golfers, any type of golfer, whether you're a new golfer, beginner, you want to learn the game, you're an advanced golfer, you're trying to go pro, doesn't matter. We open a location to where you can learn the game of golf in an indoor simulation style, right? And be able to go golf on golf courses around the world. And it's exciting because it's hopefully the first of many, to where we can go from, one sport. I didn't golf, right? And a lot of people hit me up like, JB, like, you opening a golf spot? And it's like,
Yeah. Yes, a golf
yes,
spot.
I'm opening a golf spot. You know what I mean? That's the beauty, man. It's like between Austin and San Antonio, there weren't any indoor golf simulation locations. Zero. So we're the first. And I'm sure there's gonna be more to come, right? But the thing is, we saw an opportunity to be able to give athletes a platform to be able to get better at their game, to adjust their game. What do we always say whenever we're having these conversations? We want to be able to adjust your mindset, adjust maybe your perception of somebody, of something. We just want to give you an opinion, or maybe a different viewpoint or a different, angle for you to be able to see something. And then you could take that and maybe it can, change how you view something. And that's the whole point of this. Come in, take your time. You ain't got to chase your golf balls around the course. You know what I mean? You can take
and that's
your
helpful
time.
for people like me, man, because I tell you, I'll shake them left, I'll shake them right, I'll hit them behind me. So in there, I can just swing away. And if it's a bad one, guess what? It ain't that far away. I just go back to it. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's an awesome location.
Yeah, man. So I'm super excited to be leading the forefront on it, to hopefully get us to the point that we can incorporate more sports. Right, that's the whole point. I want to be able to hopefully have a location to where we're housing every athlete that you can imagine, and you can come and adjust your game at our location. So definitely stay tuned. We'll post a video about the location, and you can check it out. And if you're in college, if you're in Austin, man, come down, come see me, come say what's up. That'd be super dope. But that's what I've been on, man, and it's been well received. Like, we've had some good people come in. We've had some really good members sign up. So I'm excited. And it's one of those things that, I'm not even, you can't expect to sell, right? You want to be able to provide a service and provide a platform for people to be able to use something and it be impactful to your community, right?
Right.
And it's doing that. So it's
absolutely.
a big golf community down here. And I'm just excited to be able to help them out. You know what I mean?
It's huge. Yeah, no, and what you're doing is huge because, especially in Texas, as the locals know, the weather is unpredictable, one.
Yep.
And
bipolar.
Two, yeah, you can get, you get all kinds of weather. You're going to get the sideways storming wind. You're going to get you get hail. Depending on where you at, you're going to get more or less of one or the other. But you you get it all pretty much no matter where you're at. So the ability, like you said, to have a place where you can go and no matter what it is, rain or shine, and it's not hard to get to. You know, you don't have to worry about if you're gonna slide off the road. Nothing crazy. You can just drive over there and go play your golf. You know, you want to get that game in every week. You want to get that game in every few days or every couple weeks. You know, this is the perfect place to go do it, and have something consistent. You know, the only thing that changes in there is you. It's not the wind.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to learn how to hit your ball, you know, like it only your, you know, that way when you go out there and you play, you can adjust to the wind because you know how you're going to hit your ball. And again, that's what I love
your
about
club
it.
And all that. You know what I mean? You getting your distances in, you dialing everything in. You get a chance to say, you know what, I really want to break down my game.
Yeah,
like you can do that at the driving range. That's fine, right? Yeah. That's cool. But now you can come in and you can see, am I shaping my shot how I want to shape it?
Right.
You know what I mean, how far am I actually hitting it? You know, what's my club speed? What's the ball speed?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That.
Am I going inside out on my shots? You know, you can see so many different things, and I'm excited to hopefully, you know, add in like different like iPads for people to see back their swing in real time. So it's like that's the shot I just hit, and I can actually see it. You know, so exactly. It's fun to bridge the technology space where I was with the sports space, which is what I love, right? To bridge them together and be able to bring a platform to people to be able to do something. So it's a big market, it's growing, and you know, I'm excited to just be a part of it, you know, and be hopefully, you know, a staple in Central Texas when it comes to indoor golf. So and hopefully beyond that with just sports in general. I'm hoping we can grow that Halftime brand. So we need you sitting there listening to us right now. We need you to continue to rock with us, man, because we definitely gonna grow something big, and I'm excited about it. So, but with that, man, you wanna dive in to the questions, to our little track list that we got going on today?
Yeah, we could definitely dive into that. But before we get into the questions today, you know, I got something I kind of want to share. You know,
all right.
Since I've been in my own element, you know, I've learned some things about myself. You know, I love, you know, little motivation, little tidbits, little things you can hold on to.
Yeah.
We all do. You know, you get them in the Bible, you get them in other places, but I like to share some of the ones that are impactful to me. So I just figured, you know, why not start this episode off and just kind of share one of the ones that's been on my mind recently. And it's Denzel Washington. It's kind of a speech he has given at a graduation ceremony in Fordham University in Philadelphia. And you know, I'm just gonna quote you a couple little snippets from it that I think are really important and will really kind of add to your perspective, your overall understanding of just life in general. Anyways, so first of all, the first thing this man says, Denzel Washington, you know, award winner, been all over the world, spoke to millions of people, traveled and probably seen it all. Okay, the very first thing that comes out of his mouth is put God first in everything that you do. Put God first in everything you do. And he goes on to say, everything that you see in me, everything that you think he's accomplished, everything that you think he has, and he has a few things, obviously, but everything that he has is by the grace of God. And so that's the very first thing out of his mouth. All right, so to all these guys, that's powerful. I want y'all to understand and sit with that this is a man who's, again, traveled and seen it all and has every reason to say that this is all because of me. Like, well, look what I've achieved. And he is very cognizant and very humble about the fact that everything that he has, everything that you think he has, we think he has, is by the grace of God. So I just, you know, want to put that out there. But the rest of it is amazing. So he goes on to say, I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. You know, nothing. You know, Nelson Mandela said that there is nothing to be found in playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one that you're capable of living. Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and going to college and deciding what you want to do with life, that people have always told you, make sure you have something to fall back on, right? You know, if it's your mom, your friend, somebody, make sure you have something to fall back on, honey, right? When you're telling them that goal or that dream or that thing that you wanted to do. And he goes on to say he never understood that concept, right? Something to fall back on. If you're going to fall, you don't want to fall back on anything except your faith, right? Except your faith. You want to fall forward. Like you said, you want to fall forward, right? At least that way, you figure you'll be able to see what you're going to hit. So fall forward. You know, Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But people don't talk about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. fall forward. Thomas Edison. Did you know this man conducted 1,000 failed experiments, JD? Because I didn't know that, man. 1,000 failed experiments. And you know what the 1,001st was? It's going to blow your mind, bro. The 1,001st experiment Thomas Edison ever did became the light bulb. Talk about falling forward, right? Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. So he goes on to say, fail big, right? That's not normal advice you give. Fail big. You know, because today is the beginning of mine, yours, and everybody who's watching this, the rest of our lives, right? And it's a big world out there, and it's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about, right? Don't waste time with all the other stuff, because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I never thought about it that way. If you don't fail, you're not even trying.
That's real.
That's real. And the last little bit I want to leave y'all with, just all these things to think about. It can apply to anywhere in your life. But to get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to everybody out there who's nervous, you're doubtful, you don't know if you can do what it is that's on your heart or your mind or your soul, your spirit to do. Take this as that encouragement. All right. If you don't fail, then you're not even trying. And if you want to get something that you've never had, you need to do something you've never done. We can't run the same cycles. We can't play the same games and do the same things and work out the same way and live the same way and expect to get new results. Yep. So I just want to share that. Y'all think about that. You know, that we're going to bring this back. I'm going to try to bring something, you know, to each and every show that we do that is new, that is insightful, that can bring value to just about each and every person that turns this podcast 100%. On, this show on. So, yeah.
You know, the beauty behind that, first thing he said, you know, I think it was like, thank God, right?
Put God first in everything that you do.
Put God first in everything you do. And he also said it's by the grace of God that he's where he's at.
That he has everything.
He has everything.
Everything that he's got. Anything that you think
everything he's got. And what I think that's so beautiful about that is because every day God's grace and his mercy is new for the people that believe in him, right? And I think he also mentioned somewhere, maybe not this quote or maybe not, you know, this speech, but I think he talked about, you know, whenever you get out of bed, like, you know, get on your knees first, right? Make sure your knees hit the ground first, something like that.
He say, I believe it's something like, when you go to bed, put your slippers way underneath the bed, so that way when you get up in the morning, you have to get on your knees first.
You have to get on your knees first. And essentially what he's saying, you got to get on your knees to thank God, right?
Mm-hmm.
If our mercy and our grace is new every single day, we do want to thank God for that, right? Because now we have an opportunity to have a clean slate, to be able to go after those things that, you know, we want to, that we dream about. And sometimes those things that we dream about, it may come off as delusional to some people, right? But when you put God first, it's not delusional to him. You know, nothing is bigger than God. You know what I mean? So if you have a dream, if you have a passion about something and somebody tells you that, oh, I don't think that you can do that, then you know you're going in the right direction. It's weird, right? When people tell you that you don't look the part, or you probably can't do this, or it won't work out for you, that might be God calling you. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think Will Smith said this, the greatest gift is sometimes on the opposite side of fear, right? It's whatever you might be fearful of, you might get the greatest joy on the other side. And maybe that's what he said. Maybe it was joy. I'm not sure, but along the same lines, right? Like having grace in your life just allows you to have a sense of peace, right? You know, God's grace is light, man. His mercy is light, man. Like you can tap into it at any point. And it's beautiful for him to be able to say that everything that I have is by the grace of God. You
That
know,
man
God
was
didn't
that
have.
well accomplished, that well traveled, that everybody would look at and say, "Wow, I hope I can do what you've done, or I would love to do
Mhm.
what you've done. I hope I can accomplish what you've accomplished." And he says, "If you want to do what I've done, go do it." That's literally what he says.
Yeah, exactly,
He said, "I'm
exactly. That's
not
exactly what
nobody
I'm about to say.
special." You know what I'm saying? That we
Exactly.
all are all the same. We all have the same power to do what he's done in a different way, maybe, but it's had the same effect. Touch millions of lives. You may not see it, but it may happen.
With that said, man, you know, we can go ahead and dive into some of these questions that we got, and you know, it's gonna be, you know, again, to if you're new to the show, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, and that share button for you boys. But the way we like to do things, we're not just gonna ramble off on some trending topics. We're gonna talk about trending topics. We're gonna talk about sports, you know, things that interest us. But you know, we're also going to weave in, you know, questions about, you know, life, and questions about God, and questions about, you know, things that maybe might help you have a better perspective on, you know, other people or other situations. So, you know, really give our testimony too, right? That's a big reason why we have these conversations. But to start off, I want to start off, man, in the NFL. And I know you call it. What is it?
The
What do
No
you call
Fun
it?
League. You starting off there? Man,
The
not
No
the No
Fun
Fun
League.
League. I thought we were about to
I'm,
have fun on this show. Now we're about to start with the No Fun League.
I'm sorry, man. I just got to ask you a few questions. 3 questions, really, out of the NFL. And then we'll jump out of it and we'll get somewhere else. All right. So it's 3 parts to
Cool. As
this.
long as it's limited to 3, we're not doing 4. I don't want to hear 5. I don't want to stick on the No Fun League any longer than I have to. Okay.
So 3 parts to this. So first part, man, Super Bowl matchup. Who you got? Chiefs and the 49ers.
Well, talent wise, I say 49ers 31-10. What's going to happen, though, is it's going to be 28-24 Chiefs. It's going to be 28-24 Chiefs. I'm going Kansas City. I'm going Kansas City and the referees.
Kansas City and the referees. All right. So, all right. I might go to Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs. No, I'm not going to do that. Look, I get it. And I understand why the NFL, let's be real. The NFL is kind of doing this because the Chiefs are bringing in a lot of money into the NFL right now. Right.
330-something million last I saw.
And you can't have the biggest cash cow that can make the biggest Super Bowl in the hottest spot, Las Vegas, right? You can't have them miss out on the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion. Like, a lot of people can be like, no, well, sure. the Chiefs, they were just that much head and shoulders above everybody else. And no, they weren't. Not in my like. I think Mahomes is great. I think Kelsey is great. I'm not denying that. But do I think this team is great? I don't. And a lot of people were crucifying some of these team members, right? The MVSs of the world, the Kadarius Tonys of the world. You know, before they got MVS, they were, we don't need Tyreek Hill. We got MVS now, right? Yeah. Before Kadarius Toney messed up this year, he was, he did his thing in the Super Bowl for us, right? Yeah. So like you've had these guys, maybe they've tailed off because they got a championship, so they didn't go as hard, and now they're, now the season's coming back and they're back in the Super Bowl, they're gonna go hard again. I get that and all, but I don't think they're good. I think that the Ravens lost that game. I don't think the Chiefs won that game.
I agree with that.
I think, they
still should have won despite how bad they were trying to blow it up.
I think. Yeah, I also think the Bills won that game. The Chiefs did not. The Bills lost that game. They gave that game away
with the ball. This is what you wanted. You wanted a chance to go score with your quarterback on the field. You have it, and you do nothing with it.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, Pat Mahomes is just so great," and it's like 17-10 does not mean great. Does not say great to me. I'm sorry, it doesn't say great. And I know, well, that was number one defense. Well, just all year. And if you're going to say, oh, well, he doesn't have these weapons, then we're literally saying that he needs to be in a Brock Purdy situation for him to be able to put up points. Which is not, I'm not saying that he's not great, but the level of what they're saying, like Tom Brady's here and Pat's here.
Right, they're
don't
trying to
agree
make
with
him the
that.
next Brady, but Brady was doing it with no weapons, and Pat's done it with two of the best weapons we've ever seen in the history
Ever
of the
seen
game.
at their position, right? Now, do I
Yeah.
think, and this is the next question I want to ask you. It's about Mr. Travis Kelce. It's a two-part question.
Okay.
Do you think he's the best tight end in the game's ever seen?
Best tight end in the game today, or best we've ever seen?
Best we've ever seen. Just best tight end of all time. You know, he just broke Jerry Rice's record, so they say that, you know. That's amazing.
They should have put that up there. His amazing catches with his non-existent route tree. But yes, no, I think he is the greatest receiving tight end of all time. Definitely statistically, it's hard to argue with anybody else, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's, his in his prime. I mean, he's probably getting a little past that, but in his prime, explosiveness. It's as good as anybody. He can catch as good as anybody. He's making big time plays. He doesn't shy away from the moment. So as a receiving tight end, yes, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. If you're talking about just tight ends, because football is not a game of just throwing the ball, as a few of these teams have found out in the recent weeks. No, I don't think he's the greatest tight end of all time. I don't even know if he might crack top 3 now, maybe with his receiving. But I mean, you're missing a whole asset of the game. I've seen him block a little bit, and he's good at blocking smaller guys, but I've never seen him take on a Ray Lewis or a Terrell Suggs or
a nice defensive end like somebody like George Kittle could do, or Gronk could do, or something that, right?
Right. Those guys were blocking and were imposing their will on bigger, stronger guys that you thought were supposed to be these monsters that are getting tossed to the side by these big old tight ends. And then they're going to go down the field 3 plays later and catch a 50-yard bomb over your safety again. So, no, I don't think he's the greatest tight end of all time, no, but I do think he's
in that category,
in
though,
that category.
right?
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's maybe in improv, maybe Pat is the best quarterback because he does,
just some crazy things on improv.
He does some crazy things behind the line. I get that.
You know what I mean? But I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I get that. As a DB, I'm not trying to say this as a slight towards Pat. It's just hard to cover for more than 4 or 5 seconds. 4 or 5 seconds is a long time, man. And if that man back there running around and Tyreek Hill, if everybody's on this side of the field, and so is Tyreek Hill, and he sees, hey, nobody's over there, let me just run that way, like he did in the Bills game.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat just said, oh, Tyreek Hill's down there somewhere, just throws it. Yeah. Now we're saying, oh, how great is Pat Mahomes? Yes, he's great, but I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, that was just like the best play ever. Like, bro, like it's the fastest guy in NFL history, probably.
If you don't have that guy, he's not getting open, and then we're talking about a drive that didn't exist. Like, again, we can do what ifs all day, but you're 100% right. You're not like you were throwing up a prayer to Chris Hogan. You were, you know what I'm saying? Or you're some guy that nobody knows of, Nelson Aguilar. We're talking about like Lamar was trying to throw to Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not. You're throwing to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Kelsey's in that conversation. He's not the best though. Can't say that.
He's not the best, and and this is no shade to him. He's like we're saying, he's literally one of the greatest of all time in a certain category. Right. It's just you can't say all time because I don't know if he would be able to block a Michael Strahan on the edge.
I don't either. The game is most friendly to him, his personal skill set today than it's ever been.
In
any other era, his skill set is devalued farther and farther because it's more physical. You can do all that running around and like not getting hit because you don't have a route tree. Like he's great at it. He's phenomenal at finding open space and just running this like zigzag turnaround where I'm open and Pat hits them.
I find a soft spot and I can catch the ball.
Yeah, you do that with
Ed Reed,
late great Sean Taylor.
Taylor,
and he's waiting on you, and you turn upfield after that, and he puts that helmet. Yeah, you're out. People are out for weeks. You're getting breaking bones. Like he's in the least contacted era. And yes, he plays a physical position, but he doesn't play it physically. If that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. He plays it with more finesse, and that's not a knock against him.
It's
just
it's not.
It's just when you talk about all right, tight end position. I would consider him more of a slot than a tight end, right? And if we're gonna go slot, well, I want a slot that can actually run a full route tree. I'm not saying Kelce can't do that, but most of his game, if you watch some of his routes, he chips the edge. He'll hang out for a second, 2 seconds, and then he'll run out to go find the. He waits for the defense to move so he can go find his soft spot. So, like, I'm not saying like you can't get open because that's different from running routes, right? Like for me, like running routes, like a crisp route runner, like Amari Cooper, he can run routes all day. You can be glued all over him, but his mechanics and how he runs his routes, he's gonna set it up to where he can only catch the ball, right? Like Kelsey, he can do that, but it's more or less he uses his body to box you out. He gets in that spot. He's
Mahomes
there
first.
Right, so Mahomes so it's cool. But as far as like, like I'm about to go run a post corner on this dude, and I'm about to route this corner.
He doesn't do that. He's not doing it. He never does that. He doesn't route anybody up. I've never have seen him route anybody up.
The only way he gets wide open is in zone. And he's a zone killer, bro. He's a zone killer. Because he looks, it's cover 2. Okay, so these guys got to do this. I'm going to try to hit that little spot right there. That spot right. He does that perfectly, bro. And it's not even a route. You see, like you said, you'll see him do this and then sit down. You're like, and by the time he gets there, Pat's been running around like this, and then just throws it to a wide open person.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And you got to give credit to Andy Reid when you talk about all that, because the thought of somebody who's such a zone killer like Travis Kelce with the only person who's completely unguardable in man and Tyreek Hill, I mean, genius. Yeah. It was absolutely genius. But it doesn't boost Pat's greatness or Kelsey's greatness. I'm sorry, you had the best one-on-one route runner and speed guy in history who couldn't run man against, because you needed at least 2 people to be watching, one on the outside, one on the inside.
Imagine if Kelsey wasn't here this year. How would Pat have looked? With MVS, you know what I'm saying?
It would have been bad.
It would have been ugly. Yeah, they would have. Boy, hey, y'all need to step up. Like,
honestly,
and my thing is, it's like, look, like again, we're not knocking nobody, but
no,
it's very hard for me to just say they passed the eyeball test, right? Because you look at Andy Reid, to your point, he had an electrifying offense with Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens and even with Jamal Charles and Alex, bro, like,
what are we talking about?
They were 11-0 before he got hurt or something like that. Like, they were balling. Bro. So it's not like, these guys came in and it's because of them. They just transformed. Like, they benefited off of an amazing system, and it's working for everybody perfectly. Mm-hmm. It's also working for the NFL perfectly because you have people like this, who's our next topic, as in, do you think Taylor Swift is good for the NFL?
No. I was screaming from the rooftops, but I don't want to hurt anybody's ears, bro. No, she's not
man.
In the NFL. And I am not, before the whole world turns on me and says that I am hateful and the Swifties, denounce me.
They start coming at you.
Then just know I'm not a Taylor Swift hater. She has built a phenomenal business. She is a phenomenal singer.
Yes.
She is great at what she does. Props to her. But she does not belong on the football field. Nor does she belong on the football broadcast. Nor do we need to be talking about her every 5 seconds when we talk about football. That's not me hating, but I'm just saying that it's a little much to see her at every game. To see her every game, and I'm watching the football again. I'm watching the Ravens Chiefs game, and I'm getting 15 shots of Taylor Swift along the side. I mean, like, to your point. I don't think it's good for the game of football, and I think it speaks to where football is at right now. And I don't know if it's because of Goodell, or I don't know if that's because of just because of where we're at in the world, or what people want. But I think it speaks to how we are just chasing money. The NFL is just chasing money, and when it turns into just being about money, then all the glamour and all the good things about the NFL will be gone.
Integrity.
It's gone. There's no reason to watch it, because the whole reason, the average person like you, me, everybody else loves to watch football is because there's competitive games. You don't know who's going to win, and it's not. Yeah. It's not supposed to be scripted or to make one side win or lose. But the last few years, and especially this year, watching the games, if you were watching them regularly, like myself and probably you were, you could at times feel like there was refs or groups of referees that were, behind certain teams. And I know that's not a new thing. People have been tweeting about refs and bad calls for forever.
Right.
But for example, you want to talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs this year, I watched the Chiefs game, almost all of them, because they're all on TV. And they didn't look good the whole year. They didn't look good. And honestly, there was 3 or 4 games that they won. They absolutely should have lost. They did not play like winners, and they were gifted, late penalties that got them first downs or certain things that, again,
they were gifted that the defending champion benefit, I would say.
Right, which is we're going to make somebody beat you undisputedly. Like, we're going to make them beat the dog out of you where we can't help you or help you have a chance at the end. Because that's what the NFL wants right now is the ratings and they want everybody's want to see Pat Mahomes in his final drive. Or everybody's want to see Josh Allen late. It's like, and they want people to be tuned into the fourth quarter to do that. So yes, I think that most spreads ever were covered this year. I think again it speaks to where the NFL is at. Like, there's a lot of, they want things to be competitive and look a certain way, and they want certain people to be in certain positions. We talked about Taylor Swift being a $300 million cash cow. It's not a surprise to anybody. I saw a meme just the other day.
$300 million.
$300 million. And that's in how many weeks? It's like, I saw a meme that people talking about how, people are, the NFL would never let their cash cow. They're making fun of the average person who said the NFL that would never let their cash cow because they're saying you're conspiracists. But let's be real. Let's be honest, okay? Who's on the TV all the time? Taylor Swift doesn't go to Ravens games. She's not going to 49ers games. She's not going to Lions games. She's going to Chiefs games. So who do we need to be in the playoffs every week again? So that we can get that added on it. She's adding what, 330 million. How many people is that watching? That you don't think the NFL wants that to carry all the way through the end of the season?
She's adding a different demographic to your game.
Right. That's the biggest thing. It's people that aren't watching the sport regularly that are now.
They just tune in because they want to watch her. I don't gotta go to a concert. You know what I mean? In a way, this is like they can make a whole Netflix special season off of Taylor Swift with the Chiefs for this 1 year if they wanted to. And you know how big of a show that would be?
Huge.
You know what I mean? And again, this is not knocking her because, hey, kudos. You built a great platform and, a huge, massive following.
And the NFL sees that as an opportunity.
And here's my problem. She's not the only celebrity that's been to a football game.
Nope. Far from it, actually.
She's not the only celebrity that has dated or has been with a NFL player.
Yeah. Big, small, big time NFL player, small time.
You show me once or twice her face, great. I get it. She's in the stands. You letting people know that she's there.
Yes, right. That's okay. Fine. Whatever.
But when you show me her, when this man is picking his boogers, picking his jock out his ass, dancing on the sidelines, showing his little eyebrows, everything this man do, how does Taylor react to it?
Yeah.
And I hate that, man, because it's like, when did the NFL become about showing anybody in the stands?
Yeah, other than the game.
I thought the product was on the field.
What they tell the players. It's what they tell the players when they tell them not to taunt because they don't want, they don't want that image, right? But
I thought the product that was on the field, and if my thing is if someone, right, has that much influence to get the NFL to give them airtime or anything at all, let me ask you this. Do you think Taylor is the most influential person in the entire world?
No.
So what if the most influential person has any type of interested, they want to see any type of outcome in the NFL if they talk to the NFL, gave them money, whatever, behind the scenes, whatever. Yeah. Any of the most influential people in the world, right? You would think
an impact, yeah.
They would have an impact in some type of way. And my thing is that the NFL is literally showing us that she's having some type of impact. That's why you're showing her so much. So why would we call Chris Jones for hands on that dude's face mask? Instead, I'm gonna call holding on that guy because he couldn't stay upright. Why would I call a flag on Isaiah Likely in the end zone. He got tackled before the ball got there because now that would put the Ravens right on the 1 yard line. Which gets me to the next topic that I want to talk to you about, which is again is the third topic in the NFL. The refs, man. And it's not even just the NFL, like even the NBA. The refs right now, bro.
Yeah, NBA is just as bad.
I don't know what's going on, man.
It's the money thing, man. It's the betting. It's like I truly think the more money that gets involved, the more you see it. Because there are people out there who don't want to bet their money.
Yeah.
They want to guarantee we've heard all kinds of stories where players are like they get bribed and then they're paying players to throw games. Little stuff. That was way back when. So what are they doing now?
What are you doing now?
And it's more money involved. There's more people betting. There's more ways to bet. There's more ways for them to lose money.
Exactly.
And so the outcome and how it's determined and how it happens is that much more important. And so I think you see that when you get man, you watch the games. You saw the 2 championship games. You watched the Chiefs and Ravens game. There was a flag every 2-3 plays. And the flags weren't even always on the right team. Then you watch the Lions and the 49ers game, and it feels like a normal game. There was momentum swings, flags on both teams, not a ton of penalties. It's constant action. It felt like there was a certain way that one of those games that certain game needed to go, or at least it needed to function in a certain way at some point for them to get the desired outcome because it didn't feel natural. It didn't look natural.
It didn't look natural. It didn't feel natural at all. Again, when let's take it beyond just the championship round,
Sure.
right? The refs in general need to be held more accountable.
Way more.
Plain and simple.
100%.
When you have guys so I'll go from the NFL to the NBA real quick.
Sure.
I think it was Dennis Allen when you had that situation with the Lions and the Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what his name was, and he didn't know who reported and who didn't. That is your job.
Yeah,
that's your job. And then you look at the NBA. Just I think this past week, Max Strus get called for a foul, hands the ref the ball, walks away, and she gives him a tech. All because she didn't like how he handed her the ball.
Right. What is?
And he didn't hand her the ball in some disrespectful way. He just handed the ball. It's not like he bounced it to her, threw it at her. He just put his hand out. She grabbed it. Tech. My thing is that I feel as if refs and the NBA and the NFL especially the NFL, try to make it seem as if the refs are a part of the field, right? They are a part of the field. So what happened with Lamar Jackson when he got tripped in the backfield or by that ref, right? That was he was a part of the field. Lamar should have knew the ref was there.
Yeah, and should have just hurtled over him behind him.
Yeah,
even though he's on the ground. Anyways, yeah. Continue.
Whatever.
Part of the field.
My thing is that what I'm starting to see is that a lot of these refs, besides that point, because I know that guy felt really bad, but most of these refs have too much emotion involved into the game. A perfect example of that is Scott Foster and CP3.
Perfect example.
Right? Scott Foster, it is not fair.
It's way beyond not fair.
Scott Foster can never ref that man again because it's too obvious. Yeah. And I think the NFL, the NBA has made it to where he doesn't. But if you have to do that with one of your refs, don't you think that
that's a problem?
He's allowing his emotions to change the impact to change the outcome of games? His impact alone can change the impact of an entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that he might have an issue with one of your players. You don't think he got an issue with another one?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think he has invested interest?
Or favorites at that point? And if you got people you don't like the most, then you obviously got people you do. I mean, so I agree with you, man. It's crazy.
So I just feel like I wish these refs could, man, sit them down for an interview after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about. You said something cool the other day, man. You got. I don't know if you remember it.
It was because you was talking about putting them on the podium and they need to answer questions. And I agree that they should answer questions from the media. And what we should do what they should do, right? We got analytics. We got Amazon telling us that there's a 17% catch chance. He threw it 0.2 yards from the sideline. So we got all this AI, all this stuff. Why don't we put some AI into developing what certain calls are and what they really look like and what repeatedly looks like? Because right, we have so much data. We have every game to choose from, all the film. You can definitely track what a hold looks like. You can definitely track what a PI looks like when the ball's in the air still and somebody's been in contact. There's plenty of ways for them to do that with AI. And so therefore, at the end of the games, there should be a report that comes out for NBA, NFL, MLB. I think there's already one for MLB. There is one for MLB. They do a strike zone report where they say how many balls or strikes they called accurately. They should have the same thing for the NBA. They should have the same thing for the NFL. How many calls did you make that were accurate? Was that holding really a holding? Was that PI really PI? And then release those numbers. So when you get your 30% accuracy rate and everybody goes, that's suspicious. Why don't you go talk about what made you make those decisions? And it'll be clear. They'll either have an answer because they saw a certain thing and they'll be able to honestly and justly say this is what I saw.
Justify it.
They make mistakes. But certain people are gonna fold because they're not gonna have an answer because they're gonna know that what they saw was not what they're saying they saw. So we're gonna get rid of those. Like you said, there needs to be some kind of accountability. You can't. The NFL did something where they investigated them, and then the same guys are still refs. So what do you mean you investigated them and then you didn't find them guilty? Because they did impact that Cowboys-Lions game, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They did impact the Ravens-Chiefs game. Like that. Are we going to get tired of it, or are we going to continue to like pretend like it's not there? Because it's hard not to see. I don't think I don't know if the NFL doesn't get that and they think it doesn't matter or what it is, but it's hard not to see when certain things are not fair.
It's right in your face.
Scott Foster
and
CP3 never won a game against him. So CP3 is that bad. All of a sudden, one of these all-time greats is so bad he could never win a game ref by this one guy, but he can win with everybody else ref, and that's not some kind of shady. That's not weird. That's not. It's really basic. It's really not that. It's not that hard.
And then what makes it even worse, right? What makes it seem as if I'm not going to say the NFL and NBA, but let's just say certain organizations protect their referees more than they protect their products and their players, quote unquote, right? So then you got a situation where you see that it's obvious where this person is not a good ref against this guy. Well, let's bring them in the playoff game in an environment where it's win or lose, or let's have that person ref this player.
Yeah.
To me, that means the NBA they don't care about the outcome of the game because it's like, y'all have to figure that out, or they do care about the outcome of the game, and they're like, you know what, let's put that ref in there because he's gonna ref them a little bit harder, a little bit more stringent, and that helps the wave of you know what I mean. So it's not.
You're 100% right. But a Com's razor, the most obvious solution is usually the one. And that, again, do you think it's a simple question. Do you think the NFL or NBA has a vested interest in the outcome of certain games or not? And the answer is going to be the simple answer that we all know. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the answer, then you automatically know they're doing things to further that interest, which makes
a money interest
not fair.
That's all it is.
We should have we should have a problem with that. They're taking the things that the bigger issue here. It's like it's not us coming up here to complain. The bigger issue here is you're taking sports, you're taking things that have historically been competitive, fair, been character building, been teaching things, and you're turning them into the same thing they do with video games. You're turning it into a monetary thing where we are trying to siphon as much out of the people who consume this or who like this, who love this sport or lifestyle or game as we can. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop somewhere, or we're not gonna have any character. Everybody's just gonna do everything for money. And again, then where is that gonna leave us? There's gonna be no kindness. There's gonna be no joy. There's no compassion. If it's all about money. So like we were saying earlier, I think the capitalism thing and the money thing being the root of all evil, more or less, needs to be something. We the people have to be the border there, because money is money and it doesn't change what it does. We change how we use it, right? So I think this is, call to anybody who's paying attention. We gotta speak, speak out against it and use your money,
exactly.
To speak. Like, again, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, if they keep doing this, I won't be watching the NFL. And I know that's like cheesy or corny. I'm one person and boycotting it. They may not care, but at the same time, man, if we're not watching real sports, then what are we watching, man? What are we doing?
I mean, I think this is a problem, bro. It's just like any industry that sees a boom or a rise in something, right? You also see a fall, and depending on how you handle that boom, depends on how you manage the fall. Mm-hmm. And if you see a boom and you like, screw my passionate fans, screw the real fans, screw the people that really watch this game for the actual game itself. I'm going to advertise to the people and care about the people in the new demographic because I want their money. I want them to come in. Well, guess what? Whenever this is another question, real quick, I want to ask you, and I'll answer before I throw it to you.
Do it.
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, do we think it's legitimate? I don't think so. I think it's a business decision. That's what I think it is, more or less. We see so much about how much money she's brought into the NFL. Why are we bragging about this? I thought this was a relationship. Why are y'all not? Why are y'all not protecting your players' relationship? Why are you bragging about the money she's bringing in for you? Right? Why are we talking about? She's going to be traveling from Tokyo because of concert over here when so many other people are going to be traveling to the Super Bowl. Why is there such a spotlight, right? You put spotlight on your stars. I never knew somebody's spouse or wife or girlfriend to be the star of that said thing. Wasn't she on like the Super Bowl poster or whatever, or something like that? Like one of their, maybe it was House of Highlights. I forgot which one it was, but it was like, why is she on there? Mm-hmm. Right? Again, it goes back to the point that this to me is leaning more towards WWE, WWF, like, entertainment.
Think about that.
Right?
That's what they call themselves. They do. It is right? Notable to note. They do say they are an entertainment brand. It is an entertainment.
It's an entertainment brand, and just like WWE, some of that stuff might look real, but all of it's scripted for who's gonna win this fight, who's doing this, who's doing. It's all moved out, and I don't think we not sitting here saying that the NFL reaches out to their players and scripts out like, hey, you're gonna tackle this person at the 10-yard line with 2 minutes left to go. We ain't saying that. But what we are saying is that if, again, certain people have certain interests in the game or money involved in the game, it is nothing to make sure that you have the right people in place to throw flags or muck up the game, to slow it down enough to hopefully have your person and have your team come out on top, to give them a slight advantage. Mm-hmm. That when people go gambling in Vegas, it's not like the house got an 80-20 advantage. No, they have a slight advantage. But they still beat you. That's all you need sometimes. It's just that little edge. And when you get one or two calls that go your way, that shouldn't go your way, that's that slight advantage. Yeah. And it's so subtle, but that's what it is. And it's getting to the point to where you're starting to see that, not only in the big games, but just in games in general. The first game of the season with the Chiefs, the right tackle, a false start every play. And they not throwing no flags.
No, bro. And we saw that separately. We weren't even, again, look, we weren't together on any, we watched all these games separately and somehow came to the similar conclusion, okay? So either we're crazy, we're watching something, different, or everybody else is seeing the same thing. Y'all seeing the same thing, and we just have a problem with that.
Same thing with Snead, right? Takes his helmet off in the end zone, on the field, talking to the ref. They said, "Hey, Snead, can you please put your helmet back on, sir?"
Yeah.
He put his helmet back on, and it was okay. Yep. Kyle Fuller makes a play, he got face mask and broke his helmet. His helmet is malfunctioning. He takes his helmet off because it's completely broken. Flag. He's like, "Hey man, my helmet's broken." So it's okay for one person to do it, one team to do it, but it's not okay for the other. Right there, and that's during the season. the NFL is breaking down because it's not across the board.
Yeah.
They have too many. Again, you have too many people. Imagine like this. Me and you say, you know what? We gonna become NFL referees. We gonna start putting in the next 20 years. And in 20 years, we're gonna be an NFL referee. Well, guess what? You grew up a Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't tell nobody that, and you go ref a Patriots game for the first time in Foxborough, you gonna be hyped. And you know what? Hey,
that's PI, baby.
Hey,
that's up in the passer, baby.
You feel me?
That's a holding, baby.
I'm pretty sure that was a first down right there. So let me go ahead and give it to him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah. I hear you, big dog. I hear you.
When you again, I'm not trying to become like this conspiracy theorist when it comes to the NFL, right? I'm not trying to say that. But what I am trying to say is that it's very much starting to become more entertainment than football.
Yeah.
And for me, when the way that I say that it's becoming more entertainment than football, because we're more focused on things outside of the game during the game.
Yeah.
And also it's like going back to the Chiefs-Raven game, like it was just so like mucked up that dog, like I wanted to change the channel. I couldn't wait for the next game to come on. I was like, this is terrible, bro. Like this is the worst football game you can ask for. The Ravens not doing what you want them to do. And then you kind of look and see like, man, maybe they can't because they just, I don't know, bro. I don't
know, man. That I think Isaiah Likely, if anybody hasn't seen the play, go watch the play. Isaiah Likely goes up and all the analysts are dogging Lamar for throwing into triple coverage, but it's hard to throw to a target that's getting hit by two guys before the ball gets there. That's the rule. Pass interference is being contacted more than 5 yards down the field before the ball arrives. So what is getting tackled by two guys in the end zone way before the ball's intercepted? You know what? Again, little thing like that, man. It puts the ball on the one, they tie the game. That's late. That's after all the things they already did to keep the game the way it was.
Exactly.
That was after the Chris Jones. I'm grabbing the offensive lineman's helmet on both sides.
Thumbs in the face mask, boy.
And then he's getting a holding on for holding me, even though I'm grabbing his helmet and throwing it off. Yeah, right. That was after all of these things that continued to work against the Ravens suspiciously.
And what's crazy is like you said, it's not even necessarily getting tackled, it's just impeding. If you impede a receiver's ability to make a play on the football, pass interference.
Yeah.
Right? If the roles were switched.
This is the great.
And that was Pat Mahomes throwing to Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And there's two parts to this, and this is what really upsets me. First off, they said Lamar throwing it, terrible throw. You can never make that throw. If the roles are switched and Pat Mahomes is throwing to Travis Kelce, first they would say he's giving his guy a chance.
Yep, giving his best guy a chance to make a play.
And it will also be a flag because how dare you not let Travis Kelce go up and try to make a play on that ball?
100%.
It would have been a flag.
There would have been 4 flags on the same spot on the field before he hit
it would have been a flag.
And 2 guys tackling him before he touches the ball. Oh, flags are coming from 50 yards away, baby. They're coming from the stands.
And that's what I hate because you already know the NFL loves to have any reason to crucify a guy like Lamar. A true, pure black quarterback, mobile black quarterback that's doing his thing. They cannot stand that. They want to do anything they can in their power to make sure that brand of quarterback does not become the brand of quarterback in the NFL. And so when Lamar's trying to make plays for his team, it's, terrible. He's not a good passer. He's not this. He's not that. He's not. But that's your MVP, though. So you're going to talk about your MVP like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It makes you just sit back and think dog,
the sports media is in a weird place.
Why do y'all give people grace and then other people not? To me, this should be an all equal playing field. It shouldn't be like, Pat Mahomes won 2 Super Bowls, and so he gets more lenient criticism than anybody else. No. He was.
He does get it.
Is it a 50? Is it a 53-man roster? Do not 22 starters play on the field?
Right.
Right.
Can Pat block for himself and catch for himself and run the ball? No.
Lamar
Can he
can
play
actually.
defense?
You
I
saw
did
that
see
Lamar
that.
catch?
Lamar can throw to himself in a real NFL game. That's crazy. That was the most impressive play I've ever seen, bro. Yeah, no, that was.
I was like kudos.
I
That was
knew
about
he
to be
was
an
tapped
interception.
in when he did that. Again, I knew he was trying when he did that. You don't see nobody else doing that. And then they'll go on the air and blast him for not doing his best. Anyways, further to your point though, with the whole, and I just want to give him an example because again, we are not hating on Pat. This is nothing against Pat. This is how they're treated. This is how the referee, the NFL, sports media is handling the situation. It's really on them. And we got to speak because I can't just keep sitting here and watch it. Like when Pat Mahomes when they lost to the Bills the first time, right? They lost to the Bills, and there was a late penalty that disrupted Patrick Mahomes' drive. It disrupted their drive, and they didn't end up getting a touchdown. They didn't make the game-winning play that Pat is so known for making when he has the ball. They did what Josh Allen did against them in the playoffs. He didn't make the drive, and they didn't score, and they lost the game. And what did he do? He ran across the field as a grown man and all, and patted it, smacked this man on the chest, and said, "You know that was BS about how they called a flag on us," and started crying about the outcome of the game that, again, is already over.
And Josh was just like,
I was like, what did you want? Good game, man. Like, what do you want from me? Right? This is the other quarterback of the other team who had nothing to do with that. And again, that was not a moment of character. That was a moment of, I'm a sore loser. I don't think I should have lost. I feel arrogant enough to go cry to the guy whose job is to beat me, that they beat me. And he should feel sorry for me that they beat me. And it's like, then you turn right. That again, that's Pat, and we all have our moments. So again, not judging Pat for that. What the craziest thing to me is the audacity for a grown 50, 60-year-old man to go on TV, national TV the next day, and sit here and tell people, kids, I watched SportsCenter growing up all day. You're telling kids this is a role model. You're pointing to him crying at the whole clip, showing the clip and all. This is a leader. This is somebody you want on your roster. This is somebody who just wants to win. This is the desire to win and coming out and blah blah blah. And it's like, no,
let somebody else do that.
Bro, there's just no. That's not character. So to go and to say
not at all
that you're in one of these moments that he doesn't measure up, to go say, oh, this is okay. He's being a great leader here. Again, like you're saying, it's not like it's criticism for everybody else, but not for me. Like that's how they treat him. It's like criticism for Lamar, criticism for Josh Allen, criticism for Baker Mayfield. We don't criticize Pat.
The difference. Here's the problem with the Chiefs. Their entire team is arrogant, right? Their entire team is arrogant, cocky, and
to be that way.
They have. But here's the difference: the Patriots were allowed to be that way too, but they never were that way.
They weren't.
Brady wasn't cocky or arrogant. He was confident. That's the difference. He was respectful. If he lost, he took it on the chin. He wasn't crying to nobody.
And he damn sure cried out. He might go to the locker room on you. He might not go meet you because you knew he was mad. He was hurt about losing. But again, he didn't go and exactly do that.
My thing is the one thing, the reason pride comes before a fall, right? Mm-hmm. The reason why I feel like the Patriots were successful for so long is because they weren't prideful. They weren't arrogant. They were very much next man up. Doesn't matter where you get drafted from. Mm-hmm. You work, you grind, you show up every day. We are a team. No man above you. You play your role.
Yeah. Trust the guy next to you.
Yep. The Chiefs are completely opposite. And you can see that pride and that arrogance building up and them fluffing their feathers out like we're the best team that's ever played. I'm sorry. Them 2000 Ravens would smack you. Them Steelers would smack you. The Patriots that lost the Super Bowl with Randy Moss would smack you.
Boy, they would spank them boys.
So I understand you winning right now. That's great. But the game also calls for humility. And I feel as if they're not being humble. And what happened the last time that they weren't humble going to the Super Bowl? They got spanked. And so with a team that has a roster, top to bottom, better than yours, if the refs we've known the refs, if the refs get in the way of the game, it's going towards the Chiefs. You might as well chalk it up. It could be 0-0. If we see 10 flags within the first quarter, Chiefs going to win that thing. You know what I'm saying?
If it gets mucked up, then there's somebody who's got an outcome that's...
If they letting them play, God bless. That's all I can say is God bless. Because if the Raiders can come in and beat you, if the Broncos can come in and beat you, I thought the Ravens would be able to do it, but that game got mucked up. But if this one don't get mucked up in the Super Bowl, which I don't think they can't have their grandiose football game being stopped every 5, couple plays
but
just
to show
do it. Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. But if they don't do that, I do think the 49ers get after him, man, and it's not going to be pretty. And then my question, and I know people going to say, oh, well, championships don't matter. I'm like, okay, I'm glad y'all said that because now y'all can admit that LeBron is the best ever versus Jordan. The championships don't matter, right?
Got to give one of them up.
You got to give one of them up. You can't say, oh, well, no, you got to give it up. He's never going to be the GOAT over Tom Brady anyway because Tom beat him in the AFC Championship and in the Super Bowl. I mean, you never can be the GOAT
or something. Yeah, that closed the door on that argument. I don't care. I'll never listen to somebody tell me that he's better than me. You lost head to head. I don't care. You had two again. And this is when you had two of the greatest weapons of all time. This is before me putting up 17, 14, 21 a game and getting saved by the defense. This is prime Pat who was getting bodied in the championship games by an old man. Anyways,
and I would say both of them were in very similar situations with two great coaches. Tom took over a great team after Drew Bledsoe got hurt, right? Yeah. And Pat took over a great team after Alex Smith got hurt, right?
Similarities.
Great, that's great. Who's done more so far? They're very identical, and I feel as if the NFL's trying to boost Pat up there. But the only difference is Brady never took $450 million.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay that man Pat at some point.
Yeah, they're gonna have
so
to
your Chris Jones of the world, you're not going to be able to pay them. You know what I mean? Not the point that he wants to get paid. Eventually, Rashee Rice, you might be able to pay him, but who else you going to have in your offense after that? Because Pat going to take up so much, you're going to have an O-line. You're going to have good secondary. That means all your draft capitals have to be hits with a $450 million quarterback. So to me, it's almost like, again, I said the pride comes before the fall. I think they're at the height. They on their roller coaster, and they about to get ready to go down. It ain't going to be pretty when they go down, though. You know what I mean? So
I'd be interested to. I've always wondered, what would happen if they had, say like who was it that came out with him? Was it Justin Fields or something like that? He went to Chicago and Mahomes. Was that the same year that Mahomes came out? I always wondered if
no, it was a Mitchell Trubisky year.
I always wondered what Pat would have done in Chicago. What Pat would have done in Chicago versus being in Kansas City. Would we look at him and say he's so great? What if Justin Fields had gone to Kansas City and played with I'm not necessarily a fan of Justin necessarily either, but I'm just saying
you're right.
People dog Justin Fields talking about he should be out of Chicago, but I just want to know what Pat would do in Chicago.
Right. What would CJ Stroud do there? Well, I mean, in Kansas City. What would a lot of quarterbacks do in Kansas City? And here's my thing, bro. Pat's led the league in passing 1 year since he's been a starter. Right? And he had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
A 2,000-yard receiver and the greatest receiving tight end of history that we discussed.
Everybody kills and says Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback in the NFL. Well, guess what? He also led the league in passing. And he had the likes of Wayne Ellington, Will Fuller. Receivers that's not even NFL no more. And he led the league in passing on a 4-12 team. Everybody want to crucify, just the receivers suck. But then when MVS makes that catch, he turns around and makes that catch. Oh, well, Pat just put it in the perfect position for him to make it easy for himself. Oh, well, Pat is doing that, not the receiver. Like, y'all got to make y'all mind up, man.
Yeah.
It's like y'all were glamoring these guys before, and then you want to diminish them and minimize them because they would Pat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with that. That's the last thing I'm gonna say. Like, again, pride comes before a fall. And with that said, we're gonna switch a little gears.
All right, let's switch gears, baby.
Then we're gonna switch some gears. We're gonna talk about a little life topic, last little topic of the day. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button for you boys.
Yep. And thank you for tapping in. We always appreciate
For
it.
sure. For sure. This last topic we're gonna get into is gonna be about pain, which hopefully I don't want to say hopefully because that's kind of mean. I don't want to be mean, but maybe the Chiefs gonna have to deal with a little bit of pain after they lose the Super Bowl, or I'm gonna have to deal with it because the 49ers is gonna get roasted, and I'm gonna have to look at Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift do a end of the show concert, end of the Super Bowl concert on stage.
Then you're gonna see the
I ain't gonna be happy about that.
come out in about 3 months.
And like, yeah, exactly. Not even 3 months, 3 weeks. They're
gonna
be ready to let that thing go.
They're not even gonna be together by this time.
No,
but it's all good.
This time next year, he gonna be back with his sister. At least he gonna try to. But I think it's gonna be hard for him though, because they gonna roast him.
True colors. Now he's showing his true colors.
Come on, man.
Mr. Pfizer, as Aaron Rodgers said.
Come on, man. It's funny because he started getting on the commercials too and doing all that stuff. I think let me stop.
Yeah,
again,
I know
I'm not gonna get into the business.
I digress.
I'm not gonna get into the business.
Back
Let's
to
go
pain.
ahead and transition. Back to pain. So I know, a lot of us we all go through things, right? Maybe it could be a daily thing that we go through. Maybe it be something overarching. Somebody passes away in your life, or anything. You lose a job. You lose an animal, right? How do you deal with pain? And I think for a lot of people, that question is still not answered. For me, it wasn't answered for a long time. So, it wasn't until, maybe a few years ago that I really kind of figured out, how I deal with pain, right? And it's still kind of evolving a little bit. So I kind of want to just, kind of kick it off with you, man. Just see, how do you deal with a pain? Like if we have one of our family members out there right now, somebody listening that is going through something, going through a lot, like what type of words of encouragement, what could you give them that you've done in your life that could probably help them in the situation?
That's a tough one, man. I mean, pain. Well, one thing I would say, I will say that I would begin with is that it's important to know that pain is temporary. That no matter what pain, how deep it is, how bad it hurts, pain is temporary, and eventually it will be replaced by something else. So, being able to keep that, and time is the greatest healer of all wounds. So understanding those two things, try to put a little perspective around whatever is causing you the pain. For me, dealing with that pain looks different. Sometimes that is talking to my friend, and explaining how I feel about it or why I feel the way I feel and just getting that out. Sometimes just feeling heard by somebody else, I've found for me, can relieve, some of those feelings and allow me to kind of disconnect and let it go. Another, I try to give the things that I feel burdened by or upset by or hurt by to God, and that's easier said than done, because it's, it's can't physically take them off you and give them that, but you can in a sense. I mean, you have to come to the point, or I try to come to the point of, do I trust him that this is for a reason or not? Right? Because if I can get to that question, if I can get to that and honestly ask myself that question, then and then look at my life, every time any painful things have happened, the traumatic thing, I've grown from, or I've learned from, or it's made me into something else, into something new. It's gave me a new perspective on life. So some of the worst things have been some of the best things for me. So understanding that, again, about me, it's hard to do in the moment, but if you can be cognizant of it and you can give it to him and ask yourself, do you trust that he's doing this, that there is good in this situation? Do you trust that he has you in mind when these things happen, right? And if you trust that, I think then it becomes easier to truly try to give that up. I don't think it happens immediately. Like, you don't just say, God, I'm giving you the pain from this loss, and it just goes away. But I think that if you continuously do that, you continue to say, I'm trying to give this to you. I am giving this to you. I don't want it to burden me. I only want it to be something that I learn from, or I grow from. And you continue to speak that to him and ask for that within yourself. I think, you'll find that will happen. I think, again, like, time is a healer. There's certain things you can't do. Pain is hard. Like that's why it's painful. If there's an easy remedy for it, then then it wouldn't be what it is. But those are some of the things I think that I try to do. Reach out to your friends, talk to your family, talk about your opinion, talk to God, do something that relaxes you. Step back, take a step back, go feel the grass outside, sit on the ground, look around, look at the sky. Thank God you even get to be here, because you could be 6 feet deep in the ground at any moment. As we both know, we both lost people, and people watching stuff lost people. You lose people just like that you never thought you would lose, and it can happen to me and you, and one day it will. So again, trying to think of that and understand that, yes, this is maybe painful. This is that season for me. Okay, there's this. You're a light to somebody else, and if you let your light dim, then maybe you're not lighting the way for that person. We all got to be a light. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
So that's just my 2 cents on it, man. But
nah, I love that. I mean, again, going back to kind of what we talked about with the Denzel stuff earlier at the beginning with the grace and mercy, right? Like, we all have grace and mercy every single day, so that's dope. I look at it slightly different. When it comes to pain, I feel like sometimes, at least and this is just me, you might be different, people might be different. I think it's best to sit in it and feel the weight of it, right? So, like, for example, when you say give it to God, right? I want to give everything that burdens me and hurts me to God.
Right.
But I think it's in a different sense. It's in a special sense. I think it's when I give something to God, I nail it to my cross. But at the same time, I have to pick it up. I have to carry my cross. So that means it makes my cross heavier.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that means I'm carrying the weight, and I have to get used to the weight of whatever is painful in my life. Right. And I cannot believe I'm about to I can't believe I'm about to use this anime to draw a comparison. But you watched Dragon Ball Z before?
Oh, baby, do I ever. I was just talking about, come on, give me some Goku. Give me some Goku in here. Come on, baby.
Okay. All right, so you know how whenever a threat or like Cell or Majin Buu or all these, for people that don't watch Dragon Ball Z, I'll kind of draw another comparison to help you out. But whenever a big threat came about, they might fight first and then lose, get beat up bad. And what would they do? I need to go get stronger. And how would they do that? They would go to the hyperbolic time chamber. And what would they do? They would turn up the pressure and the weight in the hyperbolic time chamber so heavy that they couldn't even walk. They couldn't even stand up straight because it was just so heavy, right? But then eventually, after sitting in that weight long enough,
talk to them.
They started to be able to stand up straight.
Talk to them, Uncle.
And they started to be able to walk, and then they started to be able to run, and they started to be able to fight within that weighted condition. And sometimes I think God doesn't call us to run from those situations. He calls us to those situations. He wants us to sit in that weight of what it is, because it's going to make us a better version of ourselves. So when they stepped out that hyperbolic time chamber and they went to go fight, they reached new heights that they never thought that they'll be able to reach, even when they were in there, because now they're in a different environment that doesn't call them to be as hard or carry as much weight as they once did. You see what I'm saying?
They feel free.
Exactly. And it's like, if you didn't watch Dragon Ball Z, it's just like this. If you go into the gym and you say, hey, I can lift 45s, I do that for 30 days. I expect the next time I see you on that 31 day, you to do 90. And if you do 90 for 30 days, I expect you to then be able to get it up to 135, right? That it's just the sense of, you get used to the weight, you should be able to move up to the next weight. And in life, the beauty is, and that's the reason why I said Dragon Ball Z, is because in life, often the pain puts us in a situation to where when we get out of it, we go to a lesser degree of pain, right? So now we're operating on a different level, and we're able to share and give to people that are going through the same pain that we once went through, right? And I think that's just the slight difference of how do you handle it. And it's different for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and tell look, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. Okay. Hey, you've been alongside of me when I made mistakes. I've embarrassed myself plenty of times. I've done so much stuff to where when I had to self-reflect and sit down with myself, that was one of the hardest times in my life. Because I realized how I wasn't necessarily a good person, or how I wasn't necessarily a good friend, or how I wasn't necessarily a good partner in certain situations, right? Once you sit in that pain and you let that change you, hopefully that'll change you into the better version, which thankfully it did for me. And so, I don't know. Again, everybody can be different.
No, man, you're 100% right. I love the way you articulated that, because I think it is so true, and it kind of goes with it kind of goes along. I'm probably a little bit worse at articulating. That's probably more accurately what it is about giving it to God. Is truly, it is kind of understanding the weight that comes with it, and carrying it, but becoming comfortable with carrying it, and understanding there's a purpose for it, there is a reason for it, and it's bigger than you. And it's like understanding those things helps you to kind of get it more under control, I think. But you're totally right. Like, in terms of, I had a counselor actually that probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I was talking to her about I was wrestling with the whole being remote at the time, and like feeling like I wasn't able to do all these things. And so one of the things that we did, she challenged me to do, was to sit, literally just sit there for like 5-10 minutes and just feel and be, think of, observe what comes to my brain, observe what I feel in my fingers when just sitting there, observe, how your back feels against the chair, how your legs feel against the chair, how your feet feel on the ground, to literally just to be and observe yourself being. And it kind of that was one of the things she did to kind of understand your pain, because it allows you have to sort through it. Sometimes painful things are so painful because they're confused. You don't know why you feel the way you feel. And that's half of it for me. Sometimes is I don't know why I feel so out of sorts, but I know I feel out of sorts. So it's painful, or it's uncomfortable, and so I'm frantic, or I'm hurt, or whatever. But when you can sit in it and say, oh, I'm just actually worked up because I'm really nervous about this presentation that I've done, and I didn't get a bunch of sleep last night, and I didn't eat breakfast this morning. And the combination of those three can make me be, grumpy. That's a small example. It's different for pain and real deep pain, but there's a purpose to it. There's something your body's telling you something because you feel it. You don't just. It's not an emotion like you're saying to just cast aside, to remove, to forget, to not listen to and understand. I think that's kind of what you're getting at. And I love, with your analogy.
Because it's all meant to make us, better. Yeah. It's all for our greater good, right? At the end of the day, Satan's gonna throw stuff at us, just like he threw stuff at Job, right? But God took what happened to him and multiplied it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the same thing that happens in our life, that sometimes, we're gonna go through things, and if we can sit down and we can just be still. Like pain, I equate pain to a storm, right?
Right.
Pain is
100%.
Scary, and you look at,
and it comes and goes.
You look at, exactly, and you look at that story in the Bible when Jesus was asleep on the boat, and the disciples were freaking out because, Jesus, you sleeping, and this is a storm, the water about to take us down and destroy the boat.
Because I'm gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
Right. And he's like, yo.
And Jesus was like, what's going on, man?
Yeah. Right.
A lot of people think that Jesus popped up like, peace and be still. But no, Jesus was human. So any person that come in and just wake up out of sleep, probably not going to be as happy. I'm wake up come on, man, y'all tripping, man. Look, peace and be still. It's a
little old storm outside. Yeah,
it's a little old storm. And what people don't understand is those two little lines. I'm sure we've talked about the story before, but those two lines, that peace and be still, they mean the exact same thing. Peace means be still, and be still means peace. What a lot of people miss in that part of the Bible is that he was talking to the spirits of the disciples, and then he was talking to the elements of the storm. Peace and then be still. Peace to the spirits of my disciples, and then be still to the storm. And then the storm subsided, and what happened? Peace came upon the disciples.
Right.
Every time the storm subsides, you find peace. And what God is trying to tell you to do is rest in that storm, rest in that pain. And I'm telling you, if you can just sit in it long enough, when it clears, you're going to be better for it. And it's hard. It's one of the worst things to do, but you're going to be better for it. But with that said, man, thank y'all. You already know your favorite duo going to be back every week, dropping content. We here. I'm excited. You excited, Biscuit?
Man, we got new guests coming on. You know what I'm saying? I got friends. He got friends. We got friends in high and low places. And they going to be coming to y'all. You know, we going to bring them on. We're going to give y'all some more perspective. We're going to continue to bring new topics, new things, new motivation, new word. You know, we're going to continue to pour it into the podcast. So y'all just tune in. Be ready. All right. And we're going to get the schedule out, too. It's going to get regular, real regular here real soon.
Real regular. But thank y'all so much, man. Make sure y'all hit that like, that subscribe button, and we thank y'all. Halftime Radio Show.
Yo.